Hey everybody, Emma here, also known as 8vinyllow, bringing all of you another video. I am joined here today in today's video with Richard's Vinyl Tap House, and I'm super excited for this. This has been kind of in the works. We've been talking about doing this video since this particular album we're going to be talking about was announced. So today we're going to be talking about Bob Mould's newest album, new release, Here We Go Crazy, came out Friday, March 7th. This is the latest album from Bob Mould, the punk alt-rock legend of Husker Du and Sugar fame, and has an exceptional solo career of his own. This album definitely joining the ranks as a phenomenal solo release. So we're going to talk about our thoughts in today's video, just kind of talk through initial impressions, standout tracks, and just bounce Bob back and forth. Richard, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, glad to do this. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. So this is his first solo release, I think in 5 years, right? 5 years ago, he released Blue Hearts, which is an excellent album in and of itself. 2020, this album comes out, and then the newest album, 5 years later, we finally get, there it is, we finally get Here We Go Crazy. The album runs 11 songs, runs about 31 minutes or so, somewhere in that time frame. And it includes his longtime rhythm section. You have Jason Narducy on bass. I'm a huge Jason Narducy fan. And then, of course, John Worster on drums. So, Richard, we'll kind of start with you. What was your initial impression with the album? Kind of tell us your thought process. I know we were talking back and forth about going to the record store to pick this up, so just kind of walk through release day.
Oh, I have to walk through release day because it was so interesting. So release day was this past Friday. Got up bright and early, drove myself over to Twist and Shout downtown Denver. Freezing cold morning. It was like 24 degrees or something. And I get there and there's this line going. They opened at 10. I got there at like 9:45. Line going out the door and up the side of the whole store with about 50 people in it. And I'm like,
you're like, everybody loves Bob.
Everybody loves Bob. Wow. It's like, this cannot possibly be for a Bob Mould release.
Right.
So I started asking around. There's like, oh, there's this Lady Gaga. It was Lady Gaga's new album coming out, which they were playing in the store. And I'm like, this is not bad. Not my thing, and it had like a signed poster and whatnot. So it's like, oh, that explains it, because it looked like a record store day line. I'm like, did I come on the wrong day or something? It's so weird.
You're like, everybody wants Here We Go Crazy.
Of course, they're like, I want this album. I want
it. Were you the only one that picked up that album that time?
Pretty much. I mean, all the people I saw holding Lady Gaga stuff, not one had their hat.
Well, you started it. See, look at you. You were a trendsetter, Richard. So I'm sure after you picked that up, everybody was like, ooh, what's that?
Ooh, what is that? Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of went down. And then I started digging through the stacks. I found one other record that I'm going to mention on a future video. Yeah, that was kind of special. I was like, whoa, did I just find what I think I found? Cool. So, then I get home and I had not heard an entire song off this album prior to the first spin. I've heard snippets. I heard,
So you didn't listen to any of the singles when they came out, the two singles? No. Nope. Okay. So you went in basically blind.
Very blind.
Okay.
So, well, we got to talk about the most important reason we got this is because of the check it out.
Beautiful. And real quickly, can we talk about the name of this? Because I cannot get over this. When I looked at the sticker at the record store, when I picked this up, the hype sticker, out of all the things, I don't know why this is so funny to me, but I had to save it. They call it black, white, and blue smush. It's black, white, and blue smush. So first off, that is my favorite description of any vinyl and wax ever. and also one of the most gorgeous pieces in the collection. It is beautiful, beautiful,
It is
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Yes.
And
So
it sounds good, boys and girls. So don't go, oh, colored vinyl sounds awful. This sounds fine.
it sounds fine. Yeah. Love. Yeah.
So now I start spinning, and I decided I was going to give each side a double listen, and then go back for a third round with the lyrics, which are gleefully printed in something you can actually read, because usually, yeah, it's in like micro font, and I need magnifying glass or something.
Right.
And yeah, I guess what stood out for me more than anything, there. I mean, I know there's a couple of songs that you and I are like, yeah, we like that one. Um, Here We Go Crazy starts off the album beautifully, I think.
I
And then,
totally agree.
yeah, it was like perfect song out of all
It
of the
gives me
songs.
it gives me sugar vibes.
Yeah, it does. There's
Yeah.
another song on here that gives me big sugar vibes.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So, and then it just kind of goes along. I didn't really kind of get what was going on until I got into the lyrics, and you can kind of see where it's hopeful, then dark, and then kind of runs the whole gamut of emotions.
Yeah, it is Bob Mould is Bob Mould, and which you get with all of his releases. But like when you're picking up a Bob Mould album, when you're going in brand new album, you know what you're getting, and I like that consistency with him. You know exactly what you are getting. I definitely there's a lot of sugar in this album for me. A lot of guitar, pop, rock, 90s alt, a little bit of power pop in their feel to it. It really reminds me of Copper Blue, some of these songs. Could have easily slid into Copper Blue, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
By far. Because there were at least, I can't offhand, and it'll come to me. I'll be like, yeah, that song.
Yeah.
But this sounds like it could have fallen off of the Sugar album. And
Yes.
I said that a couple of times. So we're on the same page with that one.
Yeah, it's undeniably Bob. But as you were mentioning with the lyrics, it definitely touches. It's honest, it's blunt, which is Bob's specialty. There, it talks about desire. But I remember you and I were messaging back and forth after I picked this up. So, real quickly, my kind of story with this: went to work and ended up going to the record store after. Grabbed this, went home, sat down with it just like you did, and played it first just 2 times straight through. Now, before listening or before picking up this album, I should say, I did sample the 2 singles that came out. So I did already, I was familiar with Here We Go Crazy, which I loved when that single dropped. And then Neanderthal, which was the second single to drop, which is another fantastic track. But going back to kind of the point on the lyrics, so we were messaging back and forth while listening to this. I think it was Friday night. And you all out of nowhere, you kind of just mentioned, you're like, honestly, these lyrics are pretty dark. It's a dark journey through this album.
It really is.
Yeah, definitely, there is a bit of hope in here, especially once you get into side 2. It does change up, talks a little bit about hope and love and those type of things, but it is lyrically intense. It's aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said there's 2 sides of Bob Mould. There's that, happy, hopeful Bob Mould with the sunshine rock to an absolute T. And then, I would say most of Sugar's stuff is pretty, upbeat as well, for the most part.
Yeah, definitely melodic in that way.
Yeah, but then, then there's his other side that I call his, dark, Mad Bob. That's the word.
Angry Bob.
Angry Bob, Mad Bob, and it's like this is a Mad Bob album. This kind of sits on the fence between the two. I think it's a mature Mad Bob.
Yeah, that is a perfect way to put it. And actually, just looking at the back, looking at the track listing, even the song Breathing Room, which we'll talk about the track listing here in a second, but Breathing Room really kind of encompasses the entire album, where it is dark and it talks about these, but then it switches off into that more hopeful and light, and you're feeling safe and you're breathing and that sort of thing. So that song in and of itself, I think, best kind of explains what this album is about and what you're going to be kind of getting into here.
Yeah, it's sort of almost like a central theme, a place of safety, and we'll talk, more about that.
Yeah.
But as it's one of those rare albums that each song is put on with a point and a place. I can't imagine this track listing being any different than it is.
No, I totally agree with you. I think that the entire album from start to finish flows perfectly.
Mm-hmm. It really does.
Yeah. Very reflective too.
For sure. You and I both agree on the one song that instantly hit us like right in the face. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Fur-mink augers.
First off, can we talk about that name for a second?
Yeah,
what a bizarre name. Yes.
Augers.
That was the one as we were kind of reading through some reviews and kind of passing those links back and forth as people were writing about it. I'm like, what is this? Fur-mink augers. I was like, what is this going to sound like? And so the morning of release day, I kind of cheated. And because I told myself I didn't want to listen to anything else outside of the singles until I picked up the vinyl. Well, I kind of cheated and I immediately went to go listen to Fur-mink augers because I'm like, I have to. It was like 5 a.m. And so it ended up being my song of the day on Instagram. And holy shit. I mean, seriously, that was my initial reaction. John Worster's drums.
Thank you.
That just smacks you in the face.
100%, especially that just blast at the end where it's just like it's guitars, it's drums, your house is shaking.
I wasn't even drinking and I felt hungover after I listened to it. And it was 5 a.m. when I first streamed it. And I was like, what just happened? It was holy shit. That was my kind of initial reaction to that. But John Worster's drums on this entire album, I think, is a complete standout. What a powerhouse.
Totally.
Yeah. And out of the album. If you want really just excellent drumming, definitely check this out. But yeah, and that song really hit me.
Yeah, the other thing that really grabbed me about this is also, I can't remember an album where Bob put his backing people up front and let them shine in a huge way. Jason Narducci is kicking butt in this whole thing, but Worster's drumming, I have never heard him just
me neither
beating the crap out of a drum.
That was my after the first run through of the album too. I was just sitting here and all I kept thinking was, holy shit, the drumming. And I think I messaged you that and I was like, this is just unbelievable. I messaged a handful of people who don't even know like who Bob Mould is, and I'm like, John Worster's drumming's so good.
Then they're all like, "Who's John Worster?"
They're like, "What?" Well, hopefully they went to go check him out then after.
We can hope. We
can only hope. But yeah, just ferocious drumming on there, so good. But yeah, overall too, like you said, Jason Narducci absolutely shines on this album as well. Bob, his vocals sound great.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a person. I've heard the whole gamut of Bob Mould throughout his whole career, from Husker Du through his heavy smoking days when his voice was pretty gravelly. And then now, I mean, he's in his late 60s, mid 60s, and kicking butt. Vocally, this is a great album for him.
Yeah, I totally agree. And his vocals definitely shine on a couple songs. When we go through the checklist or the track listing, I should say, we will bring some of those up. But the guitar tones are great. Definitely classic. It has that classic Mould distorted guitar sound to it. Yeah, so good. Like I said, with Bob, you kind of know what you're getting when you pick up a record by him. So
yeah, unless you go in blind, you're like,
unless you go in completely blind. All right. So what do you say? You want to run through the track listing on here?
Let's do it.
All right. So let's kick off with the title track, and again, the first single that was released from this album, Here We Go Crazy. What are your thoughts on this, Richard? Because your first time listening to it was release day.
My first time listening to it was, how do I put this? Earworm. It was like an instant earworm. Throughout the day, I just kept myself going, here we go, crazy. I gotta take my old man glasses off to kind of look at the lyrics. I know, and can you take the power? Can you feel it in your soul?
Mm-hmm.
I like how it kicks off the album. Kind of, for me, it was kind of like a theme to the whole album. It's like, we're in crazy times. Here we go crazy. And again, it was the perfect way to kind of start the album.
Yeah, I totally agree. And again, that is a song that could have just slid into Copper Blue, and I would have been like, yeah, that totally belongs there. What a great song, and definitely very fitting with where the direction of this album goes. Moving on to track number 2, single number 2 as well, Neanderthal, a powerhouse of a song. This is a angry, aggressive, kind of depressed Bob.
Depressed Bob, yeah. Before I knock everything over here. Yeah, just I can't think of lyrics that immediately stick out, but I need to know, friend or foe. I have my back up against the wall. Yeah, stepping stone, primal roar.
I can hear the guitars, like you were saying, earworm with Here We Go Crazy. I mean, you're reading off the lyrics right now for Neanderthal, and I can hear Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
So yeah, that was what stood out. I'm gonna say I was surprised with Neanderthal being the second single off of it.
Yeah. But because you kind of get show. I mean, they're different. Here We Go Crazy, they're very different.
Oh, they're very different.
Yes. So he kind of just went for it. But yeah, I wonder if that is a reflective piece of his childhood a little bit.
It could be.
Could
be.
Yeah.
Right. There's a couple of songs on here that I think kind of go biographical for Bob, but others it just seems like this is the state of the world. This is what we're all asking.
Yeah.
And Neanderthal is kind of along that vein.
Yeah, definitely. Another unique song title too. I was not expecting that.
Neanderthal. It's like
Neanderthal.
Neanderthal?
Yeah. I wasn't sure about it when I saw that pop up when he was I was like, Neanderthal. Then I listened to it, and it was the same thing like Firming Augers when I first listened to Neanderthal. I was sitting there like, whoa, I feel like I just got smacked by something. Smacked by Bob's genius. He has such a knack for songwriting.
Oh my gosh. Well, also, this is the other thing. These songs sound to me a lot of stream of thought. You can almost see he turned a page into his notebook, started writing this stuff down. That became the song. There was not a whole lot of editing and purposely trying to rhyme this with that. Yeah, it's really flow of thought. I like that.
Yeah. That's well said. Well put. All right. Track number 3. Breathing Room.
I love.
Like I said, so do I. This song, I think, just really brings together the entire album. What you get with it, right? You start a little dark, a little depressed in a way, and then it kind of lifts up and it softens up and kind of has a message of feeling safe and having hope. And
100%. Yeah. That whole thing, I want to be in my breathing room, this place, this safe place, a place of safety.
Yeah.
And, again, going along with that whole idea of we're talking about the crazy world, everyone's looking for their safe place, be it at home or with friends or whatever.
Or with Bob Mould's new record.
Check out Bob Mould's new record.
Safe inside my Bob Mould record.
That's my breathing room.
That is.
Yeah. Did you kind of get that same vibe to that too?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a standout track for me as well. All right. Next one. Hard to Get.
Hard to Get is an interesting one. And
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever I probably I mean I'm surrounded with Husker Du and Sugar and
Mhm.
Bob Mould records right now, but I'm
As
kind
you should be, Richard.
huh?
As you
As I
should
should
be.
be, right. I'm in my breathing room with my
Yep,
Bob Mould stuff. This song is interesting to me because of that hard to get refrain. It's just like hard to
yeah.
get, hard to get. I was getting cheap trick vibes. I was like,
Richard,
oh my
yeah,
god,
a little bit.
I love
Yeah,
this song.
that was another song that I could have like. It gave me Sugar, right? It gave me '90s alt power pop.
Absolutely.
Whatever you just did, by the way, I hope you go see Bob and you do that during the song.
Hard to get,
Yeah,
hard to get.
yeah, no, it's a great song. It's a quick song. A lot of these songs are shorter. I mean, the
Yeah,
whole
they're like
album you can get
3 minutes.
through it in 30 minutes, but yeah.
Exactly. You could, here's the thing. I could picture going if I go to this concert. Denver is sold out, so if I
Okay.
go, I have to go to Fort Collins, which is
Okay.
way up the road. But if I go, I could imagine him just ripping through this whole album, just straight through, and then doing like Bob Mould and Company's greatest hits.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I would
just
love that to hear this in its entirety. I mean, could you imagine? Oh, it'd be so good. He should do it.
Dear
We
Bob,
need to go tell dear Bob, this is our plea to you.
really play the entire album straight through. Why not?
You should. Like you said, you get through it in 30 minutes. Yeah.
Well, especially you've seen him live.
What? Oh yeah. So
He
here's
doesn't
the
come
thing
up for
though.
air between songs.
Yeah. I mean, he flies through them. What I was gonna say is I've never seen him with the full band.
Oh.
I've only seen him solo electric. And so this upcoming spring tour, I need to go. Yeah.
You must go.
I must go.
Do take earplugs. It will be loud.
Even his solo electric, I mean, I walk out of there and my ears are just ringing. But there's no other way. I'd rather leave a Bob Mould show than with my ears bleeding. Especially when he, wraps up with some classic Husker Du.
Of course.
So good. All right. So Hard to Get's on there. Now, we're going to move to my favorite right now song of off the album.
This is your favorite one.
Surprise.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
And how I measure that is the one that I keep going back to over and over and over again. And it just after a couple of listens, it just hit. And I was like, that's my song from the album. So, we're recording this on Sunday, came out Friday. So that could change as time goes on. But right now, my heart is, well, we're going to When Your Heart Is Broken. But this song definitely kind of fuels my heart a little bit. Yeah, favorite song off the album so far, When Your Heart Is Broken.
Looking at some lyrics here. This is the catchiest song.
It's catchy as hell.
Album.
It's so catchy.
It's just it's like instantly. It's like When Your Heart Is Broken.
And it for me, I mean, being a power pop girl, this is 100% power pop.
The other thing I noticed about this album, choruses, and verses, there's almost like no distinction. There isn't no, except for things like Hard to Get, where it's hard,
Yeah.
There very few songs really have a set in stone chorus, and
that's a great point. I didn't pick up on that.
Look at it lyrically. There's no it's not verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus. That none of these songs follow that format. So that's really interesting. But yeah,
I mean,
I have a hard time. I always have a hard time with heartbreak songs and all of those. I just kind of go, okay, whatever.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly how I feel too. But like you said, this is the catchiest song off the album, and I just find myself wanting to listen to it over and over and over and over again,
and over
and over, and maybe again after that.
This is the one you played, like you said you played 10 times yesterday. Is that it?
That's the one. Yeah, I did message you. You're right.
You
Yeah,
just
10
said
times.
there was
I
one
just
song
keep
I
it
played
go
10 times. Like,
over and
okay,
over and over. I could not stop listening to that song yesterday.
interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
mine was the next song.
Yeah. Which that one is very close as well.
To me, Fur Mink Augers is, despite the quirky title,
Yeah.
is quintessential, in your face, no holds barred. They probably, this might have been the first take for all we
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I like
'Cause-
at the end, did you hear the little drumsticks
yes,
when setting down? I love that stuff. Yeah. And that, wrapped up that side, so perfect ending, but
yeah. I mean, and both songs on the end of both sides work
yeah.
perfectly. So
Excellent.
again, it comes back to this is sequenced so well. But yeah, Fur Mink Augers. Auditory assault to senses. And the lyrics don't make much sense, really, but who cares?
No. Not I don't. I just want to listen to that instrumentation. I want to listen to, Bob sing. I want to listen to Jason just absolutely rip that bass line. And then, like I said, John Worster on that track just blew my mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the one I told you. I had this really loud, which is I don't usually play records this loud. I was just like, and I was sitting down and my floor was literally
Yeah.
like this. I'm like,
You have to listen to Bob that way.
loud.
Yeah. Just music in general, but when I listen to Bob, it's definitely cranked up a little higher. I like loud, but with Bob, it's just
Yeah, right.
a little more on there.
No, they're right. No one's gonna call the police on me, but
Yeah.
it's loud.
It's loud. So yeah, that wraps up side one, which I definitely would say that as of right now, side one definitely stands out over side two. But side two
Yes.
is great. Still
Yes,
good.
100%.
Yeah. But something about that side one, I keep kind of replaying that one.
Yeah, there are no songs on side one that I'm like, no,
No.
it's all good. It's
all
all
good.
filler. It's all
Yeah.
killer.
All killer, no filler. All right, moving on then to the next side, starts with Lost or Stolen, an interesting little acoustic number after. So you get John Worster and you get Fur Mink Augers, boom, 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 boom. And then you get Bob coming in on an acoustic.
Yeah, getting all introspective on us.
Yes.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And you picked out the lyric, the paranoid and schizoid thoughts, I am unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
They send me down an endless path to addictions that I fight all day. And I'm like, dude, deep.
Dude, are you okay?
Really?
Yeah.
Should we call for help?
Yeah, right. His voice on this one stands out to me. That's the one thing that I kind of wrote down in my notes while I was listening to this. Beautiful. Sounds great. There's a lyric on here, and I think I messaged you about this when I was listening, and it even had kind of the same feel to it. And I thought that it was going to go into Hoover Dam off of
Yes.
There's a lyric in here where he goes, standing on the edge of collapse. And it really, if you're sitting there, if you're just sitting there and I was just kind of, looking around and whatever, and then all of a sudden I heard that come through and it just had that same exact sound. The lyrics were the same. And I was like, is this Hoover Dam? I was so confused. So I wonder if that was an intentional nod or if that was just, something that was just put in there.
It well could have been. I mean, just the way that it came into your mind. I kind of thought of that too. It was like standing on the edge of the Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
No,
And it just
standing on the edge of
sounded like it. Yeah. So, but yeah, great song. Sharp Little Pieces. This is, I would say, my favorite off of, you think it's strange?
I think it's strange, and it took me a while to kind of get it, and I think it's another one I have to revisit a few more times to kind of get my head around it. But yeah. I don't know. What stands out to you about that one?
The lyrics. If we keep going back to the lyrics, the lyrics. I'll walk through some of this, and then also just the general instrumentation too. But let's see here. I tried smoothing edges with my stone. I beat myself up. Now I'm left alone in the shadow of hopelessness, worn to the core, down to the essence. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's poetry, but
I would say this is probably Bob's most lyric heavy album, lyric intense albums, and some
oh
of his
yeah, definitely up
solo
there.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like Sugar is most, not all, like Beaster is a monster of
sure.
an album,
Oh yeah,
but Sugar is mostly poppy. Who cares what the lyrics are? These songs are fun.
right.
These songs are deep and dark.
Oh, it's dark. It's dark.
Yeah.
Are you heading to the demonstration? Eyes are wide open. Be the martyr of a generation. I tried. Boom. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I aptly titled as Sharp Little Pieces.
Yeah,
Everything's a
definitely.
little dick in a barb.
And then so we go from Lost or Stolen into Sharp Little Pieces, and then we start to kind of hit, I think, the peak of the second, and then it just goes down and it calms down and softens a little bit. With You Need to Shine.
I like You Need to Shine. And it's almost like Bob's like, let's have a group hug here today.
Yes,
And
it was definitely a Bob therapy session.
a Bob therapy session. You need to shine. It's okay. You're doing the best you can. And
Yes.
yeah, go team.
I know. I mean, you're right. That's exactly what it was. All I want is happiness for you. First thing on my mind. Great things are happening daily. You need to shine.
And my take on the last three songs is kind of, You Need to Shine is his message to everyone about, it's okay. We're in this together.
Yeah.
The next one after that is kind of like I had this all like put in my mind is how to describe this. There's kind of like, we're in this together. Then there's the kind of the we can do this, and then the end, it's you and me.
Yes. Oh, that's
So us, we, and you and me.
Richard.
Thank you.
Look at you go.
But that was my big takeaway. I was kind of like it's almost like a curve.
Yeah.
We're gonna go crazy. This is the state of the world, and then just comes down to we're okay, you're okay, you and me will be fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, well put.
Thank you.
Thread So Thin.
Let me get my eyeballs back in here. Man, getting old sucks. No. my near vision is great. My far vision sucks, and I'm just like, Yeah. But shine a floodlight on the hill. Now the clouds arrive. The storm is coming closer. Is it time to head for shelter? This is the we.
Yeah. And then you're right. I'm noticing this. You might be spot on with your assessment, because the final couple of lines on Thread So Thin before it gets into Your Side, which is it says, gotta keep on, gotta stay strong, I love you. That's where it switches. It switches over. Okay, so either Bob Mould is a genius and we're geniuses because, well, you are because you kind of figured this out, or we are overanalyzing this entire thing.
You're right. Bob puts on his YouTube. It's like, I was watching this stream, and these two people were talking about this theme they thought for the last three songs, and he couldn't be more wrong. But
he just sits there. He's like, that's a great thought.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, right. I think you're right, though. I think you really are.
No, and then especially with Your Side.
Oh, so good.
That's clearly about him and hubby.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and I are
what a great closer.
Together. We get the house with the pool so you could do laps. Like, yeah.
Yeah, well put. So we go from Here We Go Crazy to Your Side. And everywhere else in between, like you said, and up and down. It's a roller coaster ride through plethora of different emotions and feelings, and yeah. And then like you said, it just wraps up. What a great song.
I agree. And what I also liked, I thought, this is going to be like just a soft spoken final song. And then it
It
booms
takes
up
off.
again.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was listening. Oh, okay, it's going to be a quiet closer, bringing everything kind of together. No. Boom. Explodes. What a banger.
Only
Yeah.
Bob can do.
Yeah. Only, yeah. What a just fantastic album. So Richard, what are kind of your final thoughts here? So I know when we were talking about this, we probably could have sat down on Friday and talked about it, but I wanted us to really kind of sit with it over a couple days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and take it in. So a couple days later, it's been out for a little bit. What are your final thoughts and takeaways from Here We Go Crazy?
Grower. I think it's going to take me some time to kind of, I have kind of a big, I got what I wanted out of this. I got the big picture of it. It is quintessential, accessible Bob for the most part. Is this like a first Bob Mould record I would suggest for somebody? Probably not.
Me neither. I wouldn't either. Oh, that's a great question.
Ooh.
What would you suggest?
A first
Just
Bob
really
Mould
quickly,
album?
yeah, because you brought up a really good point. If you had to, okay, you need to introduce somebody to Bob Mould. They don't really know anything about him. What would you? And let's do solo Bob Mould. Let's keep Sugar and Husker Du out.
Okay, so right, yeah, I'm not really. I've heard some Husker Du and I didn't really like it.
I
And
know,
not even
Sugar.
what solo Bob Mould do you suggest?
Okay, hold on. Don't hold it yet. I want to see if we pick the same one. Okay.
Wait. Where is mine?
Oh, but
I got it.
See, do I go with my gut?
My gut. I changed my gut.
I would give them 2.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, you pick another one too. If we had to come up with 2 Bob Mould records that tells people who Bob is.
Got it.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
We agree on.
We agree on Silver Age. Yeah.
I picked this one because it's Happy Bob, and this is really dark Bob.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have like the angel and shoulder or the angel and devil going on right now. So my initial reaction, my first pick was Silver Age.
Yeah,
that was my first pick.
My first pick was Sunshine Rock.
Sunshine Rock.
Just because I didn't want them to like pick Black Sheets of Rain, which I really love, but it's such an angry, dark, ugly.
Yeah. I totally agree with it. And then it just, quintessential, but I have to go with Workbook. I have to go with Workbook. Yeah.
That's a good one. I don't have an OG of that one, but I have that same 25th anniversary
25th. Yeah.
Yep, there it is. I found it. That one.
So there you go. Now, would those be your picks? I would assume you would probably throw in a Husker Du or Sugar. So now if we just opened it up, if you had to choose one album, this is Bob Mould. Would it be one of those solo albums, or would you move over and choose something else?
I would move into something else.
Okay.
But again, it would be a twofer.
Okay.
Get your twofer for.
Oh, I think I left my other one over there. Okay, because my copy of that is I didn't grab it, but I can tell you when you hold yours up what I would choose, and it's my favorite Bob album ever. It's my favorite Bob album ever, and I left it over there.
All right, are you ready?
Okay, ready. 1, 2, 3. I'm going with Copper Blue. Yep, and Flip Your Wig. I totally agree with you. 1000%, Richard. Yeah. That would be the Husker Du that I would introduce to people, and that's the Sugar I would introduce.
And the addition,
you don't have a lot of
Sugar backed with frickin' Beaster because they go hand in hand.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, no, I totally agree. So technically, you would do Flip Your Wig, Copper Blue, and Sunshine Rock as your top 3.
Again,
for an introduction.
But if I could, say I would rather. I like Silver Age. I wasn't a big fan at first, but then this was my workout album for months, and I absolutely love this one. There's not a bad song on it.
I agree.
Yeah, The Descent. Oh my God. Steam of Hercules. Oh my God.
So good.
Oh, especially First Time Joy. I love that song.
Yeah.
We love Bob Mould.
We are big Bob fans.
A little bit.
Just slightly. It's funny enough, that's kind of how we first, that was the tie-in for us a little bit.
It was like, oh my God, I love Bob Mould. And it's like, yeah, I think it was. We were
like,
chatting
a lot
on.
of people don't really bring him up in the vinyl community all that often. And so when we were talking about him, I was like, another Bob Mould nut is out there.
We exist.
We exist. Yeah, I love and adore that man.
Oh, for sure. And then, another video I want to do soon is like favorite power trio groups.
Yeah.
And well, there's one.
Yep.
Oh, look, there's another.
One. Yeah. And then you look at the current lineup,
which is also a power trio.
It's another, yeah.
You could say Bob Mould Band is another.
Yeah. Is another, yeah, it is.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I've seen almost, I never got to see Husker Du, and I never got to see Sugar, but when I first moved to DC in the 90s, one of the first shows I saw at the 930 Club was Bob Mould doing his solo acoustic stuff. And him, a chair, and a guitar. And it was just mind-blowing. And then he got louder and louder.
Didn't look back. Yeah. So that wasn't you in that Husker Du video that I watched the other night, a live show where the guy jumped off the balcony? Because I thought that was you. Okay.
Nope.
All right. Have you seen
that? If I had done that,
this guy just jumped straight off the balcony. I don't remember. I need to go back, and I'll send it to you if I find it. But I was watching, and it happens like 20 or 25 minutes in, and if you blink, you miss it. But I saw it, and I was just sitting there like, I believe it.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Did you ever find this?
I have not picked that up yet. Is that the Bob Mould and Friends, Circle of Friends?
Bob Mould, Circle of Friends. Yeah, the Record Store Day one, which is a video too. So it's a DVD.
I think I've seen the video.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I still need to grab that for sure.
Find it. It's so good. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. But a quick little segue back over real quickly to the new album. So final thoughts, Richard. If you had to give this an overall ranking, 1 through 10, 1 being the worst thing that your ears have ever heard, and 10 being the most mind-blowing audio experience ever, what would you rank this?
I think right now I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Okay. I have it sitting at an 8.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I think there's room to grow, that I think it's going to grow on me. Same way Silver Age. I didn't like Silver Age when I first got it.
Yeah, I agree with you on it being a grower. And I do have to say, speaking of which, when I put it on the turntable today, I was sitting there and I was kind of familiar with the songs now, and I was sitting there and I was like, this is actually a really damn good album.
Yes.
It really is. It takes a couple of listens, but once you start to get it and you start getting into it, it's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, but yeah, Bob Mould, here we go crazy. They're going on a spring tour here shortly. I don't know if it started up yet or if it is going to be starting up, but go check out Bob Mould Band with Jason Arducci and John Worster. I'm hoping to catch a couple of shows here, but any final words, Richard? Final words for the people at home? Go get this.
For the people, go get this.
Definitely go get this. And most importantly, you got to get the smush.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
You have to do the smush.
Smudge. I want smudge vinyl, please.
Yes. So, anyway, thank you for joining me in this discussion. I know we've been excited about it, and it's always great talking to you, especially once we start getting into Bob Mould. We could geek out about him and forever. So, yes. But that is all for this video, everybody. I hope that all of you are doing well. Again, Bob Mould, here we go crazy. Go pick this album up. Don't forget to smush, and we will see you all later. Bye, guys.